Hello, my Leo collective. This is Zaida Velgara from Becoming I Am, here to give you your reading for February 2026. Thank you for all of you that have been here before and that are part of this family and community. I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. You are a blessing for me. And then for all of you that are new, let me just give you the rundown of how this works. I love astrology. I believe that astrology has a lot to do with how these tarot readings end up. So I always go through 4 points of astrology that are going to be very mindful and strong for the month. And then after that, use oracle decks to give you a little bit of clarity that I'm getting channeled through that information. And then after that, I do a regular tarot reading. So I hope you enjoy it. I only do readings once a month because I believe that if you start getting readings like every 2 seconds, one cancels the other, and then you can't really manifest anything. So it's better for you to channel one thought process for an entire month and then move for the next one. So you only see these kinds of readings once a month from me. All right. So let's find out what we're going to talk about first, which would be Saturn entering Aries. This is important because it will happen on the 13th of February, and it will continue until the 12th of April of 2028. So we have 2 years of this energy. Saturn is discipline, structure, contracts, like literally dotting those I's and crossing those T's. But then we have the energy. I feel like I keep hearing your executive function skills will be elevated. I don't know why I'm hearing that, Leo. Anyways, the energy of Aries is the energy of one, your identity, your self advocacy, your emperor energy. This is you being able to not only do, but delegate strongly. All right. So let's see what's up with this for you. Ooh, that was quick. This one came out for, I think it was the Spanish Cancer reading. So it's inner peace. And this is Bridget. And Bridget is an archer. She protects women and children, I believe. Let me just double check to make sure. Okay, so according to what I read here, it says Bridget is a Celtic goddess. She's really aligned to poetry, healing, fertility, and craftsmanship. So, according to what I'm seeing here, it's kind of like the awakening of the divine feminine energy in everyone of the sign of Leo. So, the nurturer, the creator, this is also very abundant energy, an activation of your heart space. I am seeing a lot more passion awakening in you also. Um, but all of them is aligned for you to feel safe, Leo. There's this feeling of I need to be safe in your energy, stable and safe. And so anything that you decide in February, and for these next 2 years, let's say with this energy of Aries and Saturn together, it's kind of like, what do I have to do to make me feel safe and secure? And this creating that real world for yourself so that you can feel that way. And the second thing I'm seeing, we're going to look into is the 17th of February. There's a solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius, and there's also a new moon in the sign of Aquarius. We will not see the solar eclipse because it's on the other side of the world. I'm in central United States. That doesn't mean that it won't affect us because it affects the magnetic poles of this planet. And obviously, we're magnetic beings, so we're going to feel the effect of it. I'm feeling like this eclipse energy for you, it doesn't feel like really masky. It feels like what I'm hearing, what they're telling me is I'm over it and swiping right. I'm over it and I'm swiping right. So I feel like what is eclipsing out are things that you're kind of over. Like, I'm done with that story. I'm done thinking about this thing. I'm done worrying about this person. I'm person, place, thing, energy. I'm done. And then you're like, swipe right. I forgot your name. I forgot this situation. That's what this is making me feel. Okay, so I got, yes, see? So we have empowerment and psychic abilities. And remember how I said, like, I'm swiping it right and I'm taking it out of my mind? I feel like you're calling back your power because you're not using your imagination, your thoughts, your, I want to say manifestation abilities on things that you don't want to see, right? It's like, oh, I can't believe this person, blah, blah, blah. And we don't realize that when we're focusing on what you're pissed off about this person or that person or whatever, you're actually like creating more of that, like giving them your power so they can continue to mess with you. And so it's kind of like, I'm over it. Mm, I feel like your intuition's going to be heightened also because of this energy. I'm also feeling calling back your power. Well, again, because you're over it. There's certain things that after this 17th, you're no longer going to revisit. The next thing that we're going to look into is Saturn in Aries conjunct Neptune in Aries. This happens on February 20th. It's considered the Great Reset or the Earth Point. Um, the significant thing about this is that the last time it's happened in Aries was like 2,000 or 5,000 years ago. I don't know. It, depending on what you're looking at, it ranges throughout all that. And it's supposed to be like a great reset. This is an Aries. Again, the identity, the emperor, the person that I am. The last time it happened was in 89, and it was in Sagittarius, which is talking about like higher knowledge, higher knowing, and whatever. And it affected the way our schools worked and how people got degrees and things like that. But this time, it has to do more with I'm shifting the way that I'm thinking because this doesn't make sense to me anymore. I'm no longer part of this group. I'm going to restructure the people, places, things I connect to because that is in more alignment with me than what I was with in before. Um, so this is very interesting. So for some reason, for me, for you, like this energy for when I'm channeling it for you, it feels because remember how I told you like calling back your power because you're over it, and it feels like this energy is kind of like, why am I going to keep playing small? I don't know why I feel that. Like, why am I going to keep playing small? I just keep hearing that. Yes. And then we have number 36 that says confusion. Growth hurts, heals, and harnesses a way through the uncertainty. And I think that this is what I'm seeing. Like, confused with yourself, confused with the situation that you have in your life and stuff, because there is some internal growth that is happening. Because that reminds me a lot of the Hermit card with the Lantern. And I feel like because you're kind of over it, I don't think you're going to limit yourself anymore. I think you're going to do some risky behavior. Oh, Leo, Leo, Leo. It makes me laugh because I don't know a Leo that isn't risky. Um, so it's doing like some kind of risky behavior because you're kind of over it. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm ready to move in this new side of reality and do this new thing or move in this other direction. And some people might think I'm crazy or this might be a little risky, but I'm over it. Like I can't do that anymore, whatever that is. Um, and then I'm hearing like a mermaid that you feel calling you from the ocean to get in the ocean, right? Um, you're feeling like something calling you. But then I heard, but don't worry, you're not gonna die. You might drown a little, but you won't die. However, that guide is, this is hilarious. Because they said you won't drown, you will drown a little, but you won't die. Um, so I do feel like whatever direction you're moving into, because they said that, whatever, it's gonna feel overwhelming, and it's gonna feel like, what the hell did I do? But then you're just gonna keep at it until you get to the other side of this, because you're going the right way. And then because that's number 36. And then all I keep hearing is 3 and 6 is 9. 3 is 6 and 9. And last year was the year of the 9. So you must have started this shift, and that's going to like be pushed very strongly during this February. Um, you must have started this idea of moving in this direction last year. It feels very much walking into the unknown. It feels kind of cool, but at the same time, a little bit freaky. I'm just going to be honest. The fourth thing that we're going to look into in the last thing is Mercury retrograde. It will happen in February 26th all the way to March 20th and in the sign of Pisces. Um, this feels like internal war. Because what I'm seeing here is you're over it, you're changing, you're looking for your inner peace. Things didn't align the way that you wanted before. So you're like, F this, you're going to go in this other direction, you're good, blah, 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 whole bunch of stuff. And there's confusion, there's turmoil, there's problems because you are changing in this new directions. But I think that this is going to bring more up of the things that you're unsure about. The turmoil, the conflict during this period of time of Mercury retrograde, it's more about the things that you're unsure about. Keep in mind that if it presents itself as a person, place, thing, or energy, it's not them. It's a turn it back around into yourself and look inside because Hermit is here. Um, because once you realize the fear that you have, that person is affirming, then you can work on canceling that fear. And that can be through meditation, through prayers, through ritual work. You know, each one of us is a little bit different, but it does mean spiritual work to delve into that shadow to like purge it out. So let's see what that's going to be all about. Because I do feel like, yeah, see, this is the Eight of Fire, which is the Eight of Wands, and it's volcanoes, and the Five of Air, which is the Five of Swords. Mm. See, yeah, the Seven of Waters, and then the Six of Fire. I'm happy that it ends up in the Six of Fire. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is that Mercury retrograde is going to create like, you know, the month of February for me, for you, my Leos, feels like there's a lot of like brewing stuff. Things are brewing inside of you, and you're feeling that turbulence of like all the symptoms of before a volcano explodes. And then all of a sudden, Mercury retrograde goes off, and it's like all these volcanoes are going to explode. And these volcanoes are linked to your fears. Five of Air is your Chiron wound. And Mercury retrograde is all about your Chiron, the shadow aspect of yourself, the things that you hide to the world that you're scared of or insecure about. And during this time, it's gonna all like explode out. Um, it's gonna come quickly. You're gonna feel like you got side swipe from it. It's gonna feel very turbulent inside of you, but it's exactly what has to happen because through the confusion, you do something, you take an act. Do you see the water again is here? I keep feeling that. See, because this is confusion, and that's the water. All of it is confusion. Through this confusion, you do something that creates a ripple effect, allowing you to be pulled out of that confusion. And this feels like what the thing you do, the thing you send out, it feels like a message, or you reach out for a friend, or oh, that just gave me cold chills, you guys. Like you're reaching out, and then you'll be fine because you're going to be pulled out of that darkness by whatever you reach out to. So this can, like I said, it can be reaching out to a doctor, reaching out to a specialist, reaching out to a friend, reaching out to family members, reaching out in something, because I don't think you're going to get out of this darkness by yourself. I think, okay, For some of the signs, I'm feeling like 2026 feels like a humbling, but not like a humbling like I'm going to smash you down until you're nothing. It's more like a humbling, like realizing that though you can do everything yourself, you shouldn't be doing everything yourself. Or it's okay to ask for help. That kind of humbling. But this looks like the turbulent water is coming. Yeah, see, fire element again, and fire, and then sun right underneath it. Like, come on. And then the one that's there is a message from fire. Shut up. Look at how the cards, I picked them up from the table, and it says the fire element, the sun, and message from the fire. Literally, this feels again like trial by fire. And the way out is to look for support. It's to accept the support and to believe that it's not something that means you're weak. That's interesting, you guys. I wasn't expecting that. Shut up. Look, I picked up the deck and one card stayed on the table, and it's the sun card again. That's interesting. So let's see like the regular tarot and what. And then I saw the five of pentacles, and I'm thinking to myself, seeing clearly what you were missing. And if you do ask for support, I feel like you're going to see how much you were missing in life to have the support around you. Like a group of friends or stuff like that that really like hold you up, you know? All right, let's see. First thing out of the deck is the Nine of Pentacles. The next is the Four of Pentacles. And then the Four of Swords. Hold on, because I haven't had to do this in other signs, but they told me to look this one up. This says 944. 944. Maybe that time is important. They said no. It says, angels are helping you uncover and recover gifts that have been lost and forgotten. Psychic insight and visions are highly likely at this time. See, it's like, because these are like very different. They're European cards. Anyway, the Nine of Pentacles, usually you see a woman by herself with all the gold and whatever. But look at what this looks like. It's a woman inviting you. And do you see the bird in the bottom, like the golden raven? And then the pentacles. Do you see how the woman is kind of confused? Like, how am I going to fit in there? Because the door is so small. And then we have the Four of Swords, and it's the guy, like, I want to say, what do they call it? Bed rotting right there, because all he's doing is vegging out in front of the TV. And I feel like based on that message that they told me to pull for 944 and this, it's kind of like being guided through some kind of awakening, but you don't know how this direction that you're being pulled towards in February, how that fits in the life that you're trying to create. Because I feel like you have big dreams, big ambitions, big whatever that's going on in your life. And you're thinking to yourself, how is this even going to fit in my reality? Right? Like, I'm not, the apprehension that I'm feeling of you entering this doorway of independence, this doorway of clarity, this doorway, the apprehension is, how does this make sense for my life that I want to create? And the Four of Swords right here, it feels, of Cups, the Four of Cups, right? The guy vegging out, but I called it the Four of Swords twice. And I feel like that's dormant. And then the Four of Cups is the guy. I feel like there's a part of you that doesn't see or is totally asleep to the potential that this opportunity has. And at the same time, you're apprehensive to take it. I'm going to see if it's a good idea for you to take it. There's like apprehension here of taking an opportunity. Ooh, look at that. That flew over there. Um, wow, we have Temperance. And then after Temperance, we have the Strength card in reverse. So look, it's going to balance you out, but it's also going to weaken you. And it's going to weaken you for a while, I think, because it's not somewhere you feel safe in. Does that make sense? It's like it's not your security blanket. It's not what you're used to. It's not the pattern of thinking that you were. It doesn't have all the protection that you're used to being around, right? And the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. And it's not the way you were taught. Like, it's not the way that your family would do it. Not the way that I want to say your kind would do it. Is that so weird? In the bottom of the deck, we have the Magician card. Look at that. And he's juggling. He's juggling his mind, his actions, his emotions. But should you do it? Let me ask that one. Should you do it? This makes me laugh, this card. It's the Hermit card. And we started this whole thing when I told you that I felt like the Hermit here, right? But I want you to see this Hermit. The guy in the desert being offered fruits, and he's saying, no, get away from me. It feels like temptation. And then we get the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Is this true, or is this their fear? That's the choices. The choice that you're going to have to make. So this is interesting. I haven't had a reading like this because usually my guides are really straightforward about like the decisions you make. The fact that it said Hermit card being tempted in the desert and the guy saying no, and then the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, like this is not a wise choice, right? Both of them are saying you're going to get tempted and it's not a good choice. But then the Lover says, but it's your choice. And I think okay, I know what I would do, but I'm not going to tell you what I would do. I do think that it might be a good idea for you to sit there a little bit and think about like this decision. And if you're willing to face the consequences of the direction you're going to be going in, because if the consequences are consequences, they kind of suck, but they outweigh the benefit. Maybe you should look at it that way. More practical, less emotional. I don't know. This one's interesting. All right. I'm going to get an affirmation for you. Sorry, it was kind of big, but it's kind of like they want you to make the decision yourself. And I feel like the the Lover's card, the choice that I said after I showed you the temptation and the unwise choice, right? If it's a good idea or not. I'm gonna tell you how they're telling me. So everybody talks about the Garden of Eden and how terrible it was that Adam and Eve ate the apple and then got cast out from the Garden of Eden. right? But if you're cast out from the Garden of Eden, you no longer are under somebody else's rule and you get to make your own. And I think that the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve tells me a lot like of the human life, and how in the beginning everything is butterflies and rainbows. We don't even know we're naked. We're being shown how to live in this world, and that's us in childhood. And eating the apple, it's kind of making the choices that are outside the routine choices of the family, which can potentially be bad. For example, for kids that decide to go into drug use or go into risky behaviors that lead to a lot of turmoil in their lives. But then at times it can lead to good things because the kids are choosing things that are outside the like dysfunction of the family and moving in a new direction. So it really depends on where your mind is when you're doing that. And I think that's why I'm going slow to try to determine what it is they were trying to tell me about that, because it feels like it depends. It can be really, really bad if you think it's really, really bad. Um, but it can also open doors to something if you have the belief that it will. This one's, unless it's something that hurts somebody else negatively or that medically is completely insane. I don't know. This one I think you should think about. I'm going to do the affirmation. I believe in magic, starting anew. I believe in the magic of starting anew. And then the back it says, what in my life do I need to stop doing and start over? How will that make me feel? This is interesting because this is exactly the feeling that I got, like the magician energy. Because remember how I showed you the magician? It feels like the magician energy. I don't think that every single time a magician gets exactly what they're assuming to get when they're doing ritual work, but they always get the thing they need. And I think I'm going to leave you with that because this one feels very mysterious for me. It feels like they're blocking it for me. Like they don't want me to give you so much information so it doesn't I want to say like instigate you, or it doesn't give you an answer, because the thing is that they want you to do it because you feel like it, um or not do it because you feel it, okay, not because somebody is telling you. So I hope that helps.